Hi, everyone. Today, I feel really compelled in my spirit to share some dreams. At least three dreams I feel that the Lord wants me to share. Um, Most of them are a few months old. I think the most recent one that He wants me to share right now is from May. Then there's one from January of this year and October of last year. The one I'm going to share first is actually the first dream that I ever felt was a prophetic dream that was from the Lord. And I never shared it because I felt as though I didn't get like full confirmation of it, even though I know that it was from the Lord and was already aware of what he was speaking behind it. Um, but for some reason now I'm feeling like a tug in my spirit to actually come out and share it. So I'm going to share those three dreams. And I pray that it blesses you. That you seek the Lord about it and get confirmation through the Holy Spirit. And if the Holy Spirit does speak to you about any of these dreams, feel free to comment below and give me your revelation on them. Because I'm not going to speak too much about, I'm just going to give it overgeneralized meaning of what I feel like it is. And I'm not going to go into super depth with it because I want you to take it back to the Lord and see what the Holy Spirit gives you on the revelation behind these dreams. So we'll start with the one that he gave me on October 2nd. I had woke up at 4 a.m. in the morning with this dream. So the location of the dream was in Colorado at my aunt's house. They've lived there for years and years, but it wasn't her house. A couple had lived there with their nanny, or it was a grandmother of their two children that they had. One was a boy and one was a girl. And I didn't have much interaction with the kids or the nanny or grandmother, but I did have interaction with the couple that was there, and I didn't know them. I knew who they were in the dream, but I don't know who they are in real life. So I was at these people's house and I was with a really good friend. I had shown up with a really good friend, and I think that there were two boys there as well, two like guys that were our age. And I'm not even sure what we were doing there, if we were just having a get together. But me and my friend, which was an old friend that I had, who are not friends anymore, but it is a friend that I know. So, and then the two guys that we were with, I don't know who they were. So we had shown up to their house, and the two children that they had, that was a boy and a girl, were around the ages of 5 and 6. I'm not quite sure if they were twins or not, but they seemed really close in age, like at least like 1 year apart, if anything. So they were hosting a get together. That's what it had felt like. But my friend went off like as soon as we got there. She went off to go and change. I don't know if she was changing out of her bathing suit into a bathing suit, but she went into the bathroom to go change. So I had this feeling that we had already had the get together or whatever. We had already been there for a while, but we were getting ready to leave, and I was waiting on my friend to get back. But I had remembered seeing like a gleam of orange light behind the curtains, because all of a sudden it was it must have been like really late evening. It felt like early evening, but all of a sudden it jumped to like the sky was dark. It was darker out. And I remember seeing like a gleam of orange light from behind the curtains. So I pulled back the curtain and I saw little tiny balls of light coming down from the sky. And I had immediately called to my friend to come over and look. And I got no answer from her. So then I called for everyone else to come and look, the couple that was there and the kids and everything. And I remember I had ran outside and I looked around and I noticed that it was either a comet or asteroids that were coming down. I don't even know, but there was like just a strange phenomenon happening in the sky. And as I peered toward the back of the house, I looked like through the house and there was like a window at the back of the house. And when I looked in the back of the house, I noticed that there was lava coming down, like a huge flood of lava was coming rolling down from the hills, and it was coming right for us. So I ran back inside and we all tried to find elevated ground. And I remember that I was standing like up on the couch. It's like the highest elevated ground. And I know that we began to pray. So I had a feeling that the couple that had lived in that house were God-fearing people, because I remember that we all started to pray. And at this point, I said all of the extra people, like the friend that was there that I had shown up with, and the two guy friends that had come with us, or that had already been there, they were gone all of a sudden. I don't know where they went, what happened, but they were gone. And it was just me and the couple in the house, the two kids, and then like the nanny or the grandmother, whoever she was. And the nanny and the kids, they went into like a separate room, into like a bedroom. And me and the couples whose house it was, we just stood up on the couch and were praying together. And so as the lava hit the house and was coming into us, I remember stepping down and stepping in it, and I had felt nothing. So then we just kept praying. The lava overcame everything that was in the house, but we were not hurt. No one in the house was hurt. So we all gave praises to Jesus, and I took that as believers, the fervent prayer of believers and righteous men availeth much. That's in James, and in the last chapter of James. And that was what I had taken it as, was that believers were going to be protected from whatever this occurrence was that was happening. So then the dream kind of poured over into what seems like the next morning. But the house was still intact. Everything was there. There was no more lava or anything like that. Everything seemed to have been like washed clean, because everything outside, it had seemed like there was like a really big storm that had come through, because everything was wet. Everything had been washed clean. And it seemed to be that next morning after, which was really weird. But that was the next jump of the dream. And I remember, though, even though all of that had been washed away and it seemed like nothing had happened the night before, there was mass hysteria going on. Everyone was looting. Everyone was running around frantically on the streets. And we were walking down, I remember me and the couple that had lived at that house were walking down the street, and I was concerned about going and getting my kids. So I remember as we were walking down the street, we got attacked basically by two men that were in SUV. They had stopped. They had, the significance of these men was that they had clear prison tattoos, like they were prison tattoos, and they seemed to be a part of the heathens, the mass hysteria that was going on. They were in this SUV, and they also had guns with them. I don't know what they had wanted from us, why they picked us out, but we ended up running down the street away from them, and they ran after us with their guns. And there was a park at the end of the street. So once we made it to that park, we kind of separated in the park, but we were hiding behind things and like ducking behind things. And we had noticed that the men knew that we had ended up in this park, but all of a sudden they couldn't find us. They couldn't see us. They kept like looking around and like fumbling over themselves, and they couldn't find us. And then so once we noticed that they couldn't see us, we ran back to the house. So we kept running, and we had escaped them, and it had seemed as if like God had covered us with like an invisible cloak, if you will, because they saw us, and then as we ran away, like we were covered, we were shielded. They couldn't see us anymore. So we went back to the house, and then the dream ended with me grabbing my Bible out of my bag, which I used to carry around my Bible with me in my bag. Now I just keep it in my car. And so I had remembered pulling my Bible out, and then the dream ended. So I think it's just, a really, really big word, as being the first dream that I felt ever came from the Lord and was like a prophetic dream, was that believers will be protected when chaos starts to ensue on the earth, when all hell gets brought to the earth. As long as we stay in prayer, close to the Lord, close to his word, know who he is, build that relationship up, know his characteristics, know what he stands for and what he does not stand for. And I just did a word yesterday on black and white. There is a black and white. There's no gray area in between. He believes in this and he doesn't believe in this. And so it's just really important to stay close to the Lord, know what he stands for. And that in the end times, like when chaos takes over, by some miraculous nature of God, he will keep us protected. So I thought that was really significant and important to share. And let's go into the second dream that I had, or that I want to share here. Let's see. I feel like I need to go in and then back in because I have another dream that didn't load. 1 second. For some reason that didn't come up. That other dream didn't get sent to me, so I won't even share the other one because I'll just take that as I'm not supposed to speak on that one yet. So I'll just leave it out and go into this one. This is the one that I had the morning of May the 1st, 2022. I was with my youngest son, who in this dream was about 2 to 3 years older. We went back to Florida to visit, but we drove to one part that I was familiar with to see the ocean, this ocean that we always went to, or the beach that we always went to. And I also remember stopping on the way there at like a cabin diner type thing to have breakfast with him. And I remember feeling that they were low in staff, that not very many people were there. But I had heard one table of two older ladies, talking about like a pandemic, right? And it seemed as though it was 2020 again, and we were in like some sort of like a lockdown. And I know that the first beach that we got to was normal. And I did have a feeling that I was like on a hunt for something. I was like looking for something. So once we went to that beach and we kind of like stayed there for a minute, I felt this like urge that we needed to leave and go to a different beach. So I don't know what I was on the hunt for. But I went to go to this other beach, and as soon as we pulled up to this beach, I had seen that the tide was like shockingly closer than it was supposed to be. We didn't even make it to the end of like the sidewalk that walked up to the sand area because we couldn't even see the end of it, because the waves were crashing in so much. So, right next to that sidewalk was like these high rise beach condos. And the beach condos were right next to the sidewalk, but they were getting rocked with waves, like high intense crashing waves, like almost as high as the buildings they were coming in. So I just remember like peering through like two of um the high rise condos and like seeing these huge wave like coming in and crashing. I mean, we were just like literally getting pelted. We might as well have been like at Niagara Falls, like just water was just splashing in on us. So I remember seeing some people on their balconies, like sitting with like their legs in between the like handlebar or the little slots of the balcony with their feet there, and they were just like dangling down. And they were they had like towels with them and alcoholic beverages, and so it seemed like they were like prepared for what was going on in essence, but they were taking it as a joke. But if you're from Florida or have heard of Floridians, like whenever hurricanes come in or hurricanes happen, they have hurricane parties. Which when I was rereading this dream before coming on, I actually, like when I out loud said that, I was like, that's actually demonic because um, when there are like tornadoes or hurricanes or anything like that that occur, God allows these things to occur, or He creates them. More than likely, He creates them, but we don't want to get it confused with HARP because we know that they manipulate the weather. So He at least allows these things to happen is where I want to put that, to not fall in to like the fact of maybe sometimes He doesn't create it, but it's typically judgment for that land. So when we are having hurricane parties or celebrating, when like a huge storm like that is coming through, it almost seems as like a demonic ritual. That's what I felt in my spirit when I had read that. So anyways, they'll have hurricane parties, and that's what it had seemed like those people were doing. So the tide and the waves came in so much that the garages, if you know like any high rise like condos that are up on like stilts, typically there's garages down below. The water had risen over the garages. So that's how much water was coming in. That's how much it was filling up. And I remember a sweet lady from another building had yelled down to me and my son and asked if we wanted to come into their house, after we almost literally got pelted by a wave. So we said yes, and we had went into her house. So she had, it was just like a normal family, it's mom and dad, and she had a few kids, and they were all getting ready and dressed to go somewhere. So I knew that in my spirit, I felt like we wouldn't really be able to stay for very long. But they were just like rushing around and like getting ready to go somewhere. And they had like I remember seeing like water dripping in from the ceiling, but they had a towel like tucked up into like the ceiling so that the water wouldn't drip in. So it was as if they knew that this like crazy like hurricane thing was happening, but they weren't concerned about it. They were just like a normal, happy, like chaotic family that was just rushing around getting their clothes and their hair done and stuff to be able to go wherever they needed to go. And then the dream had ended. So if you have any revelation on that, I'm not quite sure fully what that dream means. But there is that. And I just wanted to share those. If the other one happens to come through later, then I'll share it. But it didn't get sent to my email. So take those back to the Lord, get revelation on them, and feel free to share once you do. But have a blessed day.